views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
Game shows. What are they good for? Sometimes they may be entertainment and maybe just to entertain people to see how dumb the audience is, or at least how dumb the contestant is. But that's just how I see some of the game shows that I see on television. So, anyways, welcome back to yet another episode of The Loner. And yeah, I already noticed the microphone placement, but I'm going to go ahead and move on. So I'm just going to get straight to the point because today I'm just going to keep this episode a bit short because last time I did an episode, I already know that I made a very long episode. That could have just been 30 minutes, but I chose not to. I chose to extend it for some unknown reason, so my apologies. Anyways, game shows, and so let me go ahead and just say, and there's even talent shows I'm going to talk about today. So when it really comes to game shows, I tend to watch it for entertainment, and sometimes I feel like it's fun, such as how you would be watching Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right. These are one of the three main game shows that some of you may already know more than the other obscure game shows that you've never heard about. And then there's also Match Game, which for some reason I remember they didn't know the difference between Matching Game, and then the game show Match Game. Anyways, from what I know, they thought we were gonna play a matching game. We were supposed to match the objects, but no, it turns out it's basically fill in the blank, and then once the contestant already writes their answer, and I guess the celebrities have to guess what the correct answer is, and so whoever matches the correct answer wins, I guess. I don't even know how I would. This is what happens when I don't tend to do research here, but I'm just remembering things back when I was younger. But that's just how I see Buzzer when they try to air some vintage game shows, but that's just how I see them as. And then The Price is Right. It's fun. There's also Let's Make a Deal. I imagine how dumb I would be if I were to be in one of these game shows, and I wouldn't figure out what I'm trying to do. I wouldn't even figure it out, mostly due to my brain being out. And so, at the end of the day, I wouldn't call myself as dumb or anything, but I imagine if you go to a game show and you have no talent at all. So that's where talent shows comes from, because that's one of the main things I'm going to complain about today. So this isn't even about game shows anymore. I'm just going to talk about and probably rant about talent shows, because you know how I said I used to be an artist, but now I'm just whoever I am. Like, I have an identity crisis where I used to do visual arts. I used to be good at painting and then drawing, sketching. Now for some reason I'm able to do films without the film club. But you know what? I'm not going to talk about them today because, look, they're going to go in and say, oh, we're not going to film today, so you're free to hang out. And fine, I'm going to go home and just rant about something else and maybe just go ahead and just do what I got to do. But the good news is at least I have my homework done, so I have way too much free time. I have way too many free time to even doing an hour-long show, and I cannot afford myself doing another hour-long episode and then just leave you guys tired. But that's just what I want to talk about. So talent shows. I feel like when it really comes to watching these shows, it has to be fun. It needs to be entertaining. But how I feel about talent shows is based on this other show that I watched with my brother, and that was called Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento, or I Have Talent, whatever it's called. I'm going to go ahead and just look it up right now. I Have Talent, a lot of talent. That's how I would translate this show as. One of the things I want to complain about is, well, like any other reality show, like any other talent show, there are just way too many people who wants to sing, and that's what I see on Instagram. It's like, you go ahead and listen to this. Like, oh, I'm an Instagram singer. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm going to be like Taylor Swift. I'm going to be like Tyler, the Creator. MF Doom. I'm going to be like Kanye West. I just feel like you have this identity crisis where you don't even know what you want to do. So you're just going to resort to just making TikTok music, or not TikTok music, but rapping. That's one of the things that I will never do as a person, because even though I know I'm doing well in audio editing, sound design, and such, you'll never hear me say that I'm going to be a rapper, I'm going to do all this, I'm going to sing, I'm going to make my own songs. Not because it's going to be, not because I want to follow the technique where you got to be viral and then see what happens. No, it's not really about that anyway, because I feel like you're overloaded with way too many singers and way too many songwriters and singers. You don't even know what you're. I feel like the job placement, and sometimes I feel like their roles fail because they only say that they're going to be an artist. Specifically, they're going to be a singer songwriter. And I'm just like, don't you have it? Like, I'm just like, don't you have enough people who does the same thing like in any other area? It's one of the things that I'm just getting tired of. And I mean, that's the issue. That's the main issue that I have with 3D design, not 3D design, but with this game design class. Now I don't know about you, but aside from the drama that's been going on, and for Professor Smith's class, has just been. I mean, I've been assigned to Ian's, or at least Mira's group, where we're going to be making a whole video game, but I'm surrounded with students who only have Discord humor. That's the only way I'll describe them as. I will not be naming, for personal reasons and for privacy reasons, I will not be naming anyone's names, and I will not be addressing the drama because I have nothing to do with what's going on with Roger, and I'm going to be naming him Roger because I'm not going to, or the other woman, which again I will not be mentioning here. If you know who these two individuals are, then yeah, I think you already know what I mean. But I'm not going to mention them today, or anything at all. So let's just say this: like when it really comes to game shows and not game shows, when it really comes to making a video game, I feel like there's an issue where you're surrounded with artists. Like they want to go ahead and do art. They want to do character design. They want to do animation. They want to do all this and that, like do coding, do animation, do character design, do all these sketchings, do all these. But it's like they don't tend to think about sound design. They don't really think about anything else and just drawing the new art. I feel like that's one of the struggles that this club has, and one of the main struggles that some of the class has. Because I just can't really stand when you see one artist who wants to be an artist, but then you have another artist who wants to be another artist, and then you have another artist who wants to be another artist. It's like at this point, you might as well just go to the School of Visual Arts. And sure, if I were to go in there, then yeah, I would probably be isolated again, and I would. Oh, hello there. An officer just approved my message. Anyways, yeah. So like I said, there's like way too many artists that want to go ahead and do animation. They want to like, you have a whole community, but you don't have a role. It's like you want to be unique, you want to be different. Well, I'm not sure if you want to be unique or you want to be different, because if you're going to be an artist, then you're gonna be like anyone else. So I want you to. That's the only reason why I'm not like just be you or just be original, because even though you want to be original, you just have to ask yourself. You need to understand what you really want to do. That's why whenever I hear, oh, I'm gonna be another singer songwriter, I'm an artist, I'm gonna go ahead and do original songs for you. And if you're inspired by whoever's famous right now, then that's what I'm gonna replicate. That's what I'm going to emulate. I feel like then you just don't have enough authenticity, and so that's one of the main things I'm gonna complain about. And I've been complaining about that since 2025, and I'm gonna complain about it now because I needed to discuss about this, and I needed to go ahead and I just wanted to let all of my thoughts out, even though they're all just. Even though this episode at least is the bare minimum of my own rant. That's my main issue with, and that's where I leads into the game. That's where I would go ahead and transition to the game show, or at least a talent show. Tengo talento, mucho talento. That's the same issue I have with this show, because there's gonna be there's way too many singers like who wants to do rancheras, like some Mexican songs. That's how I would describe them as, just like some rancheras, somewhat that. Yeah, I think that's how I would. You want to be Vicente Fernandez? Well, there you go. You're gonna be that person, and that's what you're gonna do. Someone will hit the golden buzzer. Oh, and if you have a sad story, then well, maybe you'll be in the grand finals. And if you don't want to, and if you don't make it, and well, try again, because sometimes I feel like when you sing a lot, when you have the most talented, when the original contestant uses to. Here's the thing: like when there's one singer who impresses the judges, then they think that, oh, you're an amazing artist. You're gonna have a great future. You're gonna have a bright future in singing, songwriting, whatever you do. But then you have another contestant who does the same thing, and you're just as good as the other person. And then it goes on and on and on. Like, Yeah, that's just one thing I'm getting tired of. It's like, I get it. You are good at singing. You are really great. You have a bright can't like can't we have someone else who does who can't we have someone else who doesn't just do singing, who doesn't do songwriting, or who doesn't just draw? That's one of my other issues with the autism program. And I think I've described about this before, and I haven't, and I'm going to describe it now. When it really comes to the autism program, then you often see the same issue. Almost every student wants to draw, and so that's what they do. They draw, they paint, they animate, and yeah, they're part of the animation community. And sometimes the animation community may also consist of pedophiles, but we're not going to talk about them because I already made a whole episode about that in Goon's Attraction. So if you want to know more about that, then go ahead and listen to that. If you don't, then well, let's ignore that message and move on. So, like I said, with the animation community, there's sometimes it'll be fun, but sometimes it'll also be toxic. That's the only reason why I left the animation community, because if I were to continue if I were to continue in the same route, then I would probably be boring. But that's also one of the reasons why if I don't watch anime, then I'm going to be left out. I guess that's the only reason why I'm an outsider, because I don't watch anime. So if you want to go ahead and ignore me because I don't watch that, then well, screw you. I'm gonna go ahead. Screw you. I have my own life. I'm gonna do I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I don't have the authority to say that yet. Either way, it's already 12 minutes, and so like I said, I'm only gonna keep this episode a bit short. But that's my main issues with the talent shows. So like I said, can't we have someone else who does not just sing, who doesn't draw, who doesn't just make an original song, or who does Eminem, like Rap God? I get it. If you're able to rap fast, good for you. If you're able to impress your judges, and good for you. But can you be original? Can you do something that every other contestant could not do originally? Because if you can, then that's going to impress me. So maybe if I were to do a show called Impress, if I were to do a show called Impress Me, then you need to show your talent. And when it really comes to your talent, I'm saying you need to show me more than than your capabilities, more than your skills. Because the more you can impress me, then the more I'll be honest with you, and not just faking. I'm not just giving you some fake messages, not some fake positive messages that you'll have a great future, you'll have something bright in the future, because I highly doubt that you'll be gaining any growth, unless if you're Michael Jordan from Arts High School, because apparently we do have two Michael Jordans, one from basketball and then the one student who does film. In that case, I'm talking about film acting, but that's all I can really say for that. And for game shows, it just really depends on the contestants, because I feel like it's also entertainment where a couple of people may be dumb, and that's where you go ahead, and that's where rage baiting comes from. Whenever you say a contestant do something dumb, then you know you're gonna talk smack about him. You're gonna talk smack about some person, and then we're just gonna go ahead and do something stupid ourselves. So I guess tune in next time when I do something stupid on the internet and then I get canceled, which I hardly thought was gonna happen. But well. I wasn't going to do anything controversial aside from the Valentine's Day episode. But that's going to be about it for me. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time. So remember, if you have a talent, then try to impress me. And do not tell me, oh, I'm an artist, so I can draw, I can animate for you. No, I feel like there's already enough people who does that. Oh, I'm a YouTuber. Again, there's already enough people who does filmmaking, who does cinematic content, so I want you to do something else. And if you still want to do filmmaking, then just don't use a template. Try to be original, try to be unique, and just try not to take someone else's content or someone else's skills and think this is what you're good at. And if you really do 3D, and if you're able to do some 3D design, then that's good. If you're not able to do anything complex, then I mean, it won't impress me. But this will depend on the value, and this will depend on how much time do you take on making your personal projects. But that's gonna be about it for me. So just always remember that once I get out of here. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because they just said that there was going to be a meeting today at 2:00, and I have 60 minutes of content, so that's that. All right, I'm gonna shut up now, and I'm gonna end it right here. So once again, thank you again for listening to The Loner, and my rant on talent shows, and my rant on the community. And I'm completely out. And now here's Samantha.
You recorded?
Yeah, I'm about to end the episode right now.
No, that's fine. You can record. I was about to come record, so I'm going to use the bathroom.
Alright, that's about it. So this is me, Jon Inahuazo, or the Loner. Follow me on SLAOESSEX or on XGArts24. And coming up next will be the Pot Shop Club. Alright, I'm done. I'm out of here. Stay safe and just try to impress me next time. Or not. Oh yeah, one more thing. I forgot to mention about Family Feud as well. And this one game show that I was going to discuss about in this episode was going to be called Hey Yahoo. And from what I'm looking at right now, it just says this. It's a game show that asks the search engine Yahoo some questions. And this is based on weird things people search for. And I'm just like, who's searching these things? It's like you're watching Family Feud and then you're just like, who's surveying these answers? I mean, it's already obscure enough to where every question that you hear is going to be weird enough. Okay, that's just the only thing I want to say. But anyways, that's about it for real. This has been another episode of Loner. Thank you guys again for watching, and see you next week.
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.